Hello, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Everyday Boss podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Jane, and with me today is Melanie. Melanie is the go to brand and website designer for female entrepreneurs who are ready to ditch the hot mess and step into their hell yes era. She specializes in crafting bold, strategic website and powerhouse brands that don't just look good, they attract dream clients and drive real growth. Melanie blends conversion strategy with custom design to transform brands into unstoppable forces online. Thank you so much for joining me, Melanie, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yay! I'm so glad you're here. Melanie and I met, I think we met in a networking, which seems to be kind of the common theme for all of my guests recently. And we kind of hit it off, and you joined us at a ChatGPT workshop that we were teaching all about using ChatGPT more strategically. And it was kind of one of those like, I think she's my people. And then it was like, yep, she's my people. And we kind of hit it off since then. So I'm super excited to have you here and to talk about like how important having great websites are for what we do as business owners. So why don't you tell us a little bit kind of like background, how you got started, your origin story, if you will, and we'll go from there.
Sure, yeah. So I've always been creative at heart. I've always been DIYing like decorations in my house or crocheting or, just the need to create. And so when I was trying to figure out what to do, what to go to school for, my husband just graduated. I was like, okay, it's my turn. What am I going to do? I just Googled basically. And I was like, website design. I can do that at home. I can raise kids and I can do that at home. And that's what I did. I was like, we'll see if I like it. Loved it. I loved my classes. I was like, okay, my kids need to go to bed and go to sleep so I can do this, so I can work. So
Turns out, yeah.
yeah, I've had a passion from it since day one. And so now I've been doing it for like 7 years now. As I've been raising my kids, and my youngest just went to all day kindergarten. So now I'm like really in it 6 hours a day, and I am able to help so many people with my passion to create and design to help them grow their business with an online presence that shows that they're the expert that they really are, and not just like talking about how awesome they are on social media, but then no proof to back it up. So giving that to entrepreneurs is just a dream.
I love that you said like the proof to back it up. I randomly mentioned to my business partner yesterday. I was like, "Oh yeah, like I was listening to this workshop and they're like, the first thing I do is I Google somebody." And I'm like, "I've never done that." She goes, "Oh, that's the first thing I do." She's like, "I Google everybody." And I'm like, it's just not in my brain to Google people." She's like, "Nope, first thing I do, anyone that comes into our world, I Google them." And I'm like, "Well then." Right? So like being Googleable, that's and not just have Instagram show up or, Substack or whatever, like and actually having an authority driving website is so key.
Yeah, and even like on social media, like for me, because I'm a website designer, so this is what I do. When I meet someone on Instagram, I'm like, I go to their links and
Click
I
the
see like
links.
what they're all about. Or if I am like, oh, that offer sounds genuinely awesome, I want to buy it. I won't just go to their stories and like go to the checkout page. I need to know what it's about. We have like a sales page or a website to learn more about
Some
them.
proof in the pudding.
Yeah, build some trust. And I know a lot of people do that too. And I know a lot of people just kind of binge Instagram to their content. And having the Instagram content and the website that match, it just paints you as like the expert that you're telling people that you are in their stories.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and there's this element of like there's multiple pieces of evidence, not just a lot of one piece of, right? Like not just a whole bunch of Instagram and then nothing else to show their expertise. Because like anyone can go on Canva and create a checkout page or like a funnel page or whatever, right? Like there's so many tools, and what 0 stars does not recommend, just by the way. And I'm not even a website, I'm just someone who does like funnels. Like this is done. Something existing is better than nothing. We can have that conversation, but that's not what we're here to talk about. But like if you actually are serious about building your online presence and stepping into your I'm an expert era, that hell yes era, then like a Canva page is not going to cut it. We love Canva, hearts forever. Um, I can say that as not a designer. Melanie's like, ooh, don't get me started. But like, there has to be so much more than just. It's not about being pretty. It's not about having a pretty landing page. It's about having actual back upable data and proof that you are the expert you claim to be.
Yeah, and a lot of like there is a season for DIYing and just
Yes.
throwing stuff on there. But when you get to the point where you're like trying to get more high ticket clients and you're trying to like if you're sending ads to a landing page, that needs to be strategically designed in the copy, in the flow, and
Yeah.
not just look pretty.
Yeah.
Like there has to be strategy behind like every aspect of it, the design, the copy, testimonials, where everything gets put. It all has a place. And the way your brain works is like psychology. Like the way you see it, the order you see things needs to be a strategic order for it to have the most impact and convert the most.
Yeah. There's actual science behind how a sales page or how a like home landing page or a conversion page should work. I don't know it. I'm sure you do. But like I know there's science behind it, which is why like I'm not a landing page or a sales page person, right? Like that's not my zone of genius. But like building that expertise and having it actually instead of just being like I can, change your life. Well, that sounds yippee skippy, but like okay, proof in the pudding, right? So like how are you going to change my life? And having a journey through a sales page or an about me page or whatever the page is on your website that actually does what it's meant to do, and it's not just a carbon copy of someone else's that you saw and thought was like, oh, that's pretty. Pretty doesn't sell, my friends.
It doesn't. Pretty looks pretty and it makes you feel good,
Yeah.
but it's not going to make you money.
No.
Yeah, I actually it's really hard for me to see people who even they have ads being sent to a checkout page
Mm.
because people need to learn more. They need to build trust. They need to go through that journey, whether it's landing on your website and going through a journey of going through your homepage or your about page, or if you have a sales page. I actually am creating a course. It's almost done, but I'm creating a course on how to write your own sales page. And I have the copy workbook, design templates, everything. It's going to be amazing. But there are 15 sections to a sales page that are strategically there and placed in a specific order. And they're there for a reason. It's the science that we were talking about, the 15 sections. And for people who just go and wing it, maybe it will work.
Right.
Maybe it won't.
Maybe. I feel like when you're in that like maybe this will work, you're gonna have to work so much harder on all
Mhm.
of the front end pieces that will lead someone to a sales page that you're like hope and a prayer, right?
Yeah.
And that falls into what I call the spray and pray category, where you're just throwing shit out there, crossing your fingers and saying a little prayer that this will work. When on the front end, you can make a better investment in your business, step into your I invest in my business
Mhm.
era. Everything's an era right now, but it's fine.
It is,
Right?
yeah.
Like I'm a business owner, therefore I represent myself well, and this is how I do it. And your website needs to be one of those things. It's kind of a no-brainer. Like my background as a influencer before influencing was a thing, but like blogging, I knew from the jump that I wanted to have a website that represented me well because I wanted people to land there, stay there, read through my content and really see me as an expert in like this lifestyle niche that I had carved out for myself. And the same is true for business owners regardless of like what your zone of genius is.
Yeah, for sure. If you like throwing something together on a template is great when you're just starting out.
Mhm.
But when you want to be seen like that as that expert, it's like it's time to invest. It's time to really take this serious and have someone who know what they're doing help you along the way.
Yeah. And I feel like a well done website can be like the thing that pushes people over the hump of like, do I want to? And it's not even just like the conversion copy, right? Because like the words that are on the sales page are just as important as the way the sales page or landing page is laid out. But like having it look like a 2-year-old didn't wing it together in Canva is really important to like maintaining trust. Because you've probably seen so many people who invest in like high quality brand photo shoots and have really good social media copy and really like polished reels, and then they have a website that looks like a 5-year-old designed it in like their first coding class.
Yeah. And it's really hard to because there is specifically someone I have in mind. They are amazing on social media. Like their personality is just so fun and bubbly. And then I go to their website, I'm like, this is like
Girl.
it's like a Google Doc of just like text.
Oh
Nobody's
no.
reading this.
Oh
Like
no.
it is really hard to see. And then when you go to and everything is strategic. Like even when you're writing emails and you
Yeah.
tell someone to do something, you you have to have a button for them to do it.
Right?
Like I was reading his email from this specific person, and they were like, "Oh, we have this, and we have this, and we have this," and I'm like, "Cool, that sounds good," but there are literally no links.
Yeah. How
Like
do
I
I
don't
get to
know how
that?
to. I get this, and then
Yeah.
you the same thing for like the website. They're talking about this amazing thing. It's really long paragraph, but there's no buttons anywhere. There's nowhere telling me what to do next. It's like these things need to be right where you can see them. You don't need to send anyone on a treasure hunt. If
No.
you want someone to click a button, you tell them to click the button.
Yeah. The calls to action, clear, obvious, easy, compelling, right? Like that's just
Mm-hmm.
like a no-brainer when it comes to if you want people to take action, you have to tell them exactly what action to take and make it in their face so that it's easy for them to follow through.
Yeah, and you have to make it super obvious too. Like you don't want to have like the hero section on your website is like this part where you don't scroll. You land on your website and you immediately just see what you see before scrolling. That's called the hero section. And that part is like it's called a hero for a reason. Like it can make or break you.
Yeah.
So you want to be super obvious too. Like you don't want to have them guessing what does this person do? You want to tell them exactly what you do, exactly who you help with what problem, and then the button right there, those three things on the heroes section. So they don't even have to scroll if they don't want to. They know exactly what to do, exactly what they're going to get, exactly that it is for them. And if it's not, it's good that they see that so that they can leave because you don't want unqualified leads clicking on your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it allows people to opt in or out right away,
Mhm.
right? Like you have compelling copy, the right calls to action, the right like here's what you need to know about me information in that. I, I call it above the fold section because like I'm
Mhm.
OG blogger, right? So like, but I like hero section that works really well too. But having the right information and calls to action and copy like allows people to be like hell yes or hell no, and that's what we
Mhm.
want. That's really what we want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
having those things be so compelling and easy to follow through on means that if they Googled a solution and your name popped up because your SEO is good, right?
Mhm.
Then like it's obvious what solutions you provide and you can move people through your journey faster.
Exactly. Yeah. Moving people through the journey is like, I think that's so much fun. I think bringing people through a journey of like, they have that pain, right? And so landing on your website or sales page, they have that pain. And then they go through the journey of like, this person can fix it for me. Like, this is exactly how I feel. This is exactly what I need. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Like, that is so much fun to bring people through that journey instead of creating confusion. I've been on so many sales pages where I'm like, I literally don't even know what I'm going to get if I push the button.
What happens?
Yeah.
So Sharissa and I ran a workshop this past week called the AI Treasure Map, and we talked about this a little bit in that like when you are like when you're selling something, if it's not easy for people to purchase it, if they have to like I want it and then like the link is like book a call. Well, I already decided I want it. I don't need to talk to you to like
Mhm.
give you my money. I just want to give you my money, right? Like making it so easy and obvious on like what the next step is to get the thing that they've decided they want. Too many entrepreneurs through their website, through their copy, through their sales process make it hard and turn people off. So they go from like, ooh, solution to the problem I now know I have to I'm gonna Google how to figure
What?
this out because you have ruined
Yeah.
it. Like, I am not interested in you anymore. In a couple sentences, in a couple of failed calls to action, or in just just in the way their sales page or their process is laid out. You can ruin it so quickly.
Hmm.
What is the biggest mistake you see entrepreneurs who are trying to DIY it make in their pages?
I just think a lack of flow. I think a lot of people try to just word vomit everything they know, everything they do. So it ends up being like this big like text bomb on on like their website or their sales page. Nobody wants to read through that. You want to make bite-sizable pieces and make sure that if you do have like a paragraph or two, you want it to be digestible, break it up. But that is the biggest thing I see is um, too much information that people don't care about
Yeah.
and then not breaking it up and giving it space for people to actually take in. A lot of the things I see is either too much text or everything they're trying to fit everything in like this one box. And I'm like, I don't
Even a
even know
teeny
where to
tiny.
look. Like it's
Right.
okay to have space between your elements to, make sure people don't get overwhelmed and then leave.
Yeah. So, back in my blogging days, I was working with like an ad revenue network, and we actually I did this event and had one of their like design experts come out, and she gave us feedback on everybody's websites. And one of the things she said that stuck with me the most is like white space or empty space, if you have a colored background, is literally giving your readers a chance to like for their brain to pause and absorb information, right? So like leaving little gaps, having a photo that allows their brain to like, ooh, okay, I'm still curious, I'm still interested, and actually like start to strategically process the information you've given them. If you just like if you've crammed as much text as possible with a tiny little, right, like a tiny little logo, no, mistakes are being made. Don't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I even see some designers do that, which really hurts my heart, but just trying to fit like each section, like an about you section, just in like this little above the fold section. Like it's okay if they scroll. Everything is so crammed, like no one's gonna want to read that because it doesn't give them space to think.
You want them to scroll. You want them to stay on
Hmm.
your page for a while. Like that's
Yeah,
not just good for conversion and for people actually following through on purchasing from you, but like that's good for your Google metrics, your SEO. Time on page is something Google pays attention to
it
and
is.
will
Yeah.
factor into your search results. So you
Hmm.
want them to scroll through and get all the way to the bottom and read the whole thing. I
Yeah.
mean, if they're primed to buy and they're just going to click to buy, that's great too. But like, if they're still on the fence, there's a reason we take them on a journey through that content on a sales page and get them through a couple of calls to action button and get them to the bottom. Like multiple
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you do want to have buttons throughout your page so that the moment someone decides, oh yeah, I do want this, they can immediately push it. They don't have to scroll forever and be like, wait, where was that button?
I cannot tell you how many times I like threw hissy fits mentally because I had to scroll on my phone like
Hmm.
82 times to get to the only actual purchase this button at the bottom of a page. Because
Yeah.
I'd already decided I wanted the thing. And there were a few times where I'm like, if I have to scroll one more time before I see a button, I'm done. I'm out.
Hmm.
People lost sales because they only had one actual purchase here button on their page from
Yeah,
me.
I mean, how many people have the patience to keep scrolling to find that button?
If they've already
Maybe.
decided they want it now. They don't want to
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't give them that super simple reason for them to leave.
Yeah. Any reason is a good reason when it comes to spending money, right? Anything that makes people hesitate means you've broken trust.
Hmm.
And if you're DIYing your website, there's probably ample opportunities that you're breaking trust on.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think one of the things I'd love to chat with you about today is my origins, long form content. Because I know, like, when a website is well designed, it has better results with Google. Your SEO does the SEO things,
Hmm.
and you can use it to really bring people into your business long term, right? There's been a lot of conversation in my world about creating long term lead generating content, which just basically means it's evergreen topics that are longer. So you can answer a whole question in an article. What value do you see in that, like from a design standpoint, and like someone who works with a lot of websites? Is it valuable to you, like to have someone come to you and be like, I want to put a blog on this, I want a really good sales page, like what value does that add?
Oh my gosh, it is huge. When someone comes to me and they're like, I have a blog and a podcast, I'm like, yes, this person is like taking their business so seriously because having that content, it is like the best SEO thing you can do for your business. Because the more content you put out, the more Google sees, the more people are going to your page. Google trusts you. You definitely want to have some form of evergreen content that's out in the world leading back to your website.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could say yeah like 1,000 times because it's something I wholeheartedly believe in. And then there's the whole conversation about you can take your long form content and repurpose it and remix it and make it do magical things for you with a lot less effort. But that's just like a side bonus, really, compared
Mm-hmm.
to, a lot of people miss the opportunity when it comes to their websites and like their long form content, their blog content or podcast content. They miss the opportunity to drop people from just learning who you are all the way to actually making a purchase because they're not writing the content well, or they're just kind of throwing stuff out there. Their website's poorly designed, or they're not including calls to action throughout their content, right? Like we just talked about how important it is to have multiple places for people to click through and purchase with you on a sales page. The same can be true for like an article. If you're writing an article where you're the obvious solution, you shouldn't be making people wait to get to the bottom to learn how to book a call or learn more or opt into your service or program. They should be woven throughout your articles as well.
Yeah, for sure.
How would you recommend someone do that so that it doesn't look shitty? Since we also want it to still be pretty and functional.
Yeah, I would just say I use Show It. It is a design platform that hosts blogs and podcasts through WordPress. So I think it's really easy in Show It to make it look aesthetically pleasing as well as strategic as well. I mean, blogs can be long.
Yep.
It's
You
just what
want
they're
them to
for.
be.
What they're for.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Can I tell you something really silly and really
yeah,
funny?
yeah.
It's still on my to-do list, but like my original lifestyle blog, I have like wordless Wednesday posts from like 2013 and 2014, and then articles that were less than 500 words that just need to be updated. They're on the list because like back then it was more about quantity than quality. But now we're
Mhm.
about quality. We
Yeah,
want articles to be long.
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So I would say the platform that I use to design makes it very easy to make it look good and not so boring.
That's
And
helpful.
then, yeah, and I think that if you're doing blogging and podcasting right, you are doing it in a way where people end up on your podcast or your blog, and that's like the top of your funnel. It leads them to your call to action to work with you instead of just being like, here's some information. Okay, bye.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is what a lot of people misunderstand when we talk about top of funnel. They think their social media is their top of funnel. Which is not true. It's like
Yeah.
the second layer of your funnel, but it's not
Well,
the
it's
true
like
top of funnel.
that's like how you get people into your top of funnel.
Right.
Social media is just like a tool to get them there.
Well, yes, and right, like people should be able to Google you and your name should be associated with the work you do and the solution you provide. People should be able to come into your world having never met you or never having anyone recommend you through your website, through your content, right? That's how really, right? You want people to Google you. You want people to find you because they Googled the solution. If you rely too heavily on your social platforms or word of mouth or referrals, you're doing yourself a massive disservice and missing one of the easiest ways to develop, like from super cold, like ice cold, they have no idea who you are, to like raving hot, ready to purchase, will throw dollars at you clients because you've answered and given them a solution in the space of an article.
Mm-hmm.
But that requires a website that does the thing it's supposed to do.
Yes, and that's also why. So when my clients work with me, they also get like a copywriter too, because I have
Mm-hmm.
my own copywriter that I work with, and she does SEO infused copy. And so I don't think that people understand. Like a lot of people, when I say SEO copy, they're like, what?
Yeah.
Like your titles in your website matter.
The names of your
Then
images matter.
everything in your website matters with SEO reasons. And
Yeah.
so having that SEO infused copywriting helps Google find you. Same with like your articles, your podcasts, and with all of those things work together, you're going to be found on Google and then you're going to get more clients without being on social media.
Yeah. It's a really key piece of a solid visibility strategy, right? Like it is
Mhm.
a key piece of a solid visibility strategy. So we've talked lots about the work that you do, right? But like the work that you do is not who you are or how you show up in your own business. So I'm curious to know, like, when it comes to being an everyday boss, I have to say the title of the podcast like every so often for SEO reasons, just kidding.
Mhm.
Yes. But like when it comes to showing up in your own business and like being in your own hell yes era, what is the work that you're doing behind the scenes to be a better business owner?
I would say organizing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not really taking care of yourself or organize your business, you're just being busy and you're just not doing things that really matter. So I have like on my desk right here, I have tabs of like everything that I need to do. I write it on here. So then when I do it,
Nice.
I just take my tab off and throw in the garbage. Then when I have my empty desk of my to-do things tabs pulled off, I feel so good.
Nice.
So, yeah, so I do really organize my time that way. And then,
Is there like a color
obviously
coding system along with that since they're colored tabs like certain higher priority things get different colors or
I need to do that, but I'm overwhelmed with the amount of colors that I have. So I'm like, at this point, I
not
just
so
write them
much?
down. Yeah,
Okay.
and if I
Okay.
don't finish
I was
something
more
one day,
curious.
yeah, if I don't finish something one day, I'll move the tab to the next day so that everything gets done that week. But and then I make sure that everything that I do is beneficial for my business. Like I'm not gonna sit here and scroll on social media and just get sidetracked. Okay, maybe I will do this on accident, but I try not to make sure that I don't do non-beneficial things for my business and make sure everything that I do is gonna come back to me in a beneficial way. Where if whether it's like networking or getting clients through social media or networking, just everything that I do is really to the growth of my business.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's such a unique way. I've never heard of someone using the tabs, like the little sticky notes. I have recently went back to Trello because like Trello are like the virtual version of what you do.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
I find whatever like version of like clicking the complete button or, archiving a list because it's completely done or checking the check mark on the to-do list, like that little dopamine hit is like such a like wee for my little ADHD brain that it's a
Right.
vital part of keeping me moving forward. Another weird thing that I do is I actually write my to-do list in chronological order because if I don't, I'll be like, what should I be working on? And then I'll pick the
Mm,
silliest, randomest, least important thing because that seems like
right.
fun. But if I have
Right.
it chronological, then it's like, no, the next thing I have to do is this thing because it's the next most important thing.
It's most
That's just
important.
a hack I've had to pick up for my own brain. But
Mhm.
you've been doing this for 7 years. So, like, I'm sure there's been versions of your business where different things have worked for different seasons.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I have really, because I have been doing this for 7 years, so I have really narrowed down my, what do you want to say?
Like a,
How I work with my clients.
yeah, okay. Like your processes kind of.
Yes, my
Yeah,
process. I have really narrowed down my process. Before, like designing a website would take me 3 months because of all the back and forth. And I have really gotten down, but I've tried so many different things that I know what works, what doesn't, what phase to do things, what
yeah,
order to do things, when to ask my client this information, when they need to get me this information.
yeah.
And so I can do it now in like, depending on the size of the website, like a month to like 6 weeks. depending
Wow.
on like what they have.
Efficiencies. You've developed efficiencies in your business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so interesting. Like I've talked to so many young business owners, right? Like they're baby businesses. And when I say
Mhm.
baby business, like they've been doing this for maybe a year or two at most. And they are still discovering their systems and figuring out how to be more efficient in the work that they do. I still have VA clients from like my old social media management. There was like a handful that I kept because I loved working on them and it was easy work.
Mhm.
Um, and I've never really changed their rates of what I charge them because what I do so much more effectively and efficiently than how I used to do it, right? Like my system has gone from taking that work taking like 4 and 6 hours to I can get it done in like an hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes. So there's really no I mean, probably I technically should raise my rates. Don't listen to me when I say I didn't raise my late rates for like 5 years. But what I am saying is like I pay my like, if you look at it as an hourly rate, like I charge someone $100 for something and it used to take me 4 hours, but now I can do it in an hour. I'm now paying myself $100 an hour. So in my head, I don't really need to charge more. But like because I put efficiencies and systems into my business, it allows me to be a better business owner because I'm moving more quickly, which means realistically I could bring on like 100 more clients if I only had to do an hour of work a month for each person. Huh. Anyways,
There you
just
go.
imagining what that would look like. I don't know that I'd love it because doing 100 hours of work seems like a lot of like Pinterest management or content
Hmm.
writing or whatever. It's
Yeah.
it's fun for me because I like having variety in my day and in my week, but like it's not the best scenario for me. But how do you like how do you know when you've landed on the right thing? Because if you're anything like me, there's been iterations and trial and error. Like, but how do you know when you're like, okay, I think I finally figured it out?
That is, I have literally spent 6 years figuring that out. I was serious. Like it was so bad. I was like, oh, I need to offer my services this way. I need to offer a website in a day. I need to offer this. I need to show up like this. But I got to the point last year where I was like, I am so tired of trying to be like somebody else.
Yeah.
I am so tired of trying to sell a website in a day when I don't even believe in it. So I'm not going to do that anymore. So I totally just revamped my services
Amazing.
and everything. And so I feel so much better. And I feel like I have so much more energy too, because when you're trying to do something that you don't align with,
Mm-hmm.
it's exhausting.
It sucks the life out of you.
Yes. And so why do that to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have to play around with certain things and different things to figure out what you truly believe in and what you truly want to do, it might take time, but it's worth it because finding what truly aligns with you is just going to make you so much happier and it's going to grow your business so much faster.
So true. I mean, I feel like that's the perfect place to kind of like bring this conversation to its natural conclusion. Um, yeah, because that's what we're all looking for, right? Like, is the work that feels good, lights us up, brings us energy. The websites that feel good, light us up, bring us clients. Yeah, I think that's such a key point. All right, Melanie, where can people connect with you? Is there anything other than your course? But okay, tell us about the course for just a minute in a little bit more detail so that people can be on the lookout for when this is ready.
Yeah, I am so excited for this. A little backstory. I get a lot of people asking me, hey, will you check out my sales page? And I'm like, how do I nicely tell them that it sucks? Like,
It
I
sucks.
will give them like 3 things to do that they can change that may help.
Right.
That's only 3 things.
Yeah.
And so with that
And
in
chances
mind,
are it was like a long laundry list of things that kind of sucked.
yes, but like I try not to overwhelm them.
Right. And
So
not be mean.
right. So I'm like, here's 3 things. But in all reality, it's really hard to see people struggling with their sales page. It's really hard to see people sending people to checkout pages. And I get it. People want to DIY something like that. They don't want to pay a
Hmm.
designer, they don't want to pay a copywriter. So I really am trying to close that gap in creating something that they can do on their own and still have something that will convert, still have something that's beautiful and be proud to send people to that will actually make them money. So this course, it's 10 days long, days 1 through 5, or filling out your copy workbook. It's the 15 sections I told you about.
Okay.
And it gives you prompts that you can, fill out yourself or put into ChatGPT and they can fill it out for you.
Yep.
But by the end of those 5 days, you're going to have the copy for your entire sales page.
Amazing.
And then day 6, we have your brand kit. We have your brand kit template in Canva, so we can have all of your colors, your fonts, your pictures in one spot, right? That makes it really easy for us to put your design into Show It, because I use Show It for a sales page. So then we take all of your copy that you just did, we take your branding and we put it into Show It. And that's like days 7 is like learning Show It. Days 8 and 9 are putting your copy into Show It, so that by 10, you're launching your conversion focused, strategically designed copy, conversion focused website sales page in 10 days.
That's amazing. I love that you broke it down like very simple. Like in 10 days, each day you're going to take action. It doesn't sound like it's like you're not investing a whole day of your life, right? Like you're doing maybe 30 to an hour of work, right? And by the end of that, you not only have learned a new skill that will allow you to be able to create more sales pages in the future quickly, you also have something that will work so much more effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And people, I understand people don't always want to use Show It. They want to use their Go High Level. They want to use their Kajabi. They want to use Wix or Squarespace. So the copy workbook is going to be available on its own.
Okay.
For that reason. So.
Yeah. But I mean, even the principles, right? Like the principles of design, and you can implement having great copy, having your brain kit together, having an idea of what your layout should be.
Yeah.
All of that is going to be so beneficial to whatever platform you're creating your sales page on. Yeah.
Exactly.
Amazing. And then they can go click buttons and break things on their own.
Yep.
Amazing. All right, Melanie, how can our listeners connect with you? Where should jump into your world and learn more about what you do?
Yeah, so I hang out on Instagram. My handle is the.digitaltouch, and my website is thedigitaltouch.co. And so that's where you can find me.
I love it. Amazing. Melanie, thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to put this episode out for our community. Those are words I can say. And if you're listening, go like, subscribe, do the thing, and it's time to go build your empire. Yay!
Yay!